So the whole point of everything we've done this week is to build up to this big project on the cover of your folder. Remember, it's just the front cover, and you will be using Sharpie. The biggest takeaways are you need to show geometric and organic shapes. So how this works is this is based off of an artist named Kuda San Miguel, and he's from Brazil. And I'm just going to show you this quick, it's like a compilation of his work, so you can kind of see where the inspiration comes from. Mira qué bien, yo sé que algo me quieres hacer. Mira, mira qué bien, que me rodeas y yo a ti también. Quiero más, mucho más, dame más. Quiero más, mucho más, dame So his work he does all over the world, and everything he does has like major beautiful color and detail to it, but it all has different types of shapes. Typically he uses geometric shapes, but many times he uses organic shapes as well to differentiate between the foreground and the background. So here are some of his pieces. He does sculptures, he does paintings. His work is just very vibrant and it pops. What we're going to do is we're going to base our cover off of his style. So how this works is you, first of all, are going to plan this out on a piece of paper in your sketchbook. Why are we planning this out? Like, why are we going to draw this first on a piece of paper before we draw it on the cover? Does anyone have an answer for that? Anybody? I know you know.
There's some hands. There's Lola and Lexi have their hands up.
Perfect. Either or both. I can't see you very well, so go for it.
Because we're going to be using Sharpie, and if you mess up, you can.
Absolutely. You're using Sharpie. If you mess up, you're done. What else?
And you know how to cover it?
I think I kind of heard you. You know what you're going to do. Is that what you said?
You said ruin, so you don't ruin the front cover?
Yes. And it's also so like sometimes we have this idea in our head, or at least I do. I have an idea in my head. And then as soon as I start putting it on paper, I'm like, oh, either A, I don't like that idea anymore, or B, like, I'm really struggling with this idea and I need some extra help. Like I need to go find some pictures to help me draw. So it's a place for you to really figure out if you like it or not. You only have to do this in pencil in your sketchbook. You don't, and unless you want to add color, which I'll show you some things that students have done in the past. But these are all examples of plans right here from students in the past for their sketchbook covers. So you can see that they use pencil only. Now, the main idea here is you need to choose a focal point, the main event of your project, the focus of your project. Here is the deer head. Here it's the hummingbird. I think this is a dog, a wave, and a tree. Those are the main events, the focal point. So you need to decide what is your focal point. What do you want to focus on? So you draw that first. You have to draw your foreground or your focal point first. If you don't, what would happen if you drew your background first? Does anybody have an answer? So, Miss Star, you might have to help me because I can't hear people.
Yeah, they're all like avoiding eye contact with me.
Okay, I'll tell you, if you do the background first, then you have nowhere to draw your focal point and your background will be literally on your focal point, and that defeats the purpose. So you want to draw your focal point first, then your background. The goal is to have it stand out or contrast from each other. So, and you can see here, this is another reason why we plan. This student started with a wolf and he ended with what looks more like a lion. He was like, not what I want to do. I'm going to change it up when I get it on my cover. Totally fine. That's the whole point of a plan. Notice that he drew the focal point first and it stands out from his background. He has organic shapes and he has geometric shapes. Those are the requirements. Okay, so you have a focal point, a background, and you have organic and geometric shapes. That is the whole point of this assignment. It will fill your whole folder. Your goal is to have as little white as possible. Now, this is what I was talking about where I had students who practiced some colors. Like she even put on the bottom, like color scheme for her jellyfish. But you can even see how even some of that kind of changed a little bit as she got to her final. But notice the geometric and the organic shapes. She has both. She has a focal point and it's contrast. It stands out from the background. Okay, so you can kind of see here. So a lot of kids chose animals. You don't have to. Okay, you do not have to. This is how you will turn it in. You will have a graphic organizer. You have questions you need to answer. So for full credit, you have questions. This is worth 45 summative points this time. Your Sharpie technique, Sharpie in action, longest line, plan, and final. So you can see a student's one here that was turned in. So that, and this is not due until the end of the day on Tuesday, so we have work time. I just am introducing this to you so you know exactly how to do this. Here's another student's, okay? This kind of reminds me of Mario. I know it's not the flower from that, but it kind of reminded me of that. But I love the pixelated background. This person has a focal point. They have organic shapes. They have geometric shapes. They have no white left. They have beautiful Sharpie technique that they're showing. Awesome cover. Okay, so these are your expectations. Creativity. How are you going to stand out from everybody else? Like maybe you want to choose a rose, but how's yours going to be different than somebody else's rose? Notice the 3 here. I love this one. Look at that. Like background is so like optical illusion-y. It's just, whew, like they're beautiful. Okay, this person went more black and white. This is where I like to talk about my flexibility because my goal is for you to create artwork that you're proud of. You create artwork you want to create, but you still fall into the standards that I'm required to teach you. This one does. Their Sharpie technique with the black Sharpie is phenomenal. It is not easy to color black Sharpie where it looks smooth like that. They did a beautiful job. This is, I don't know, it looks a little satanic to me, but whatevs. They did a great job. This one, I also love how they did the opposites. So they did the warm colors and cool, warm colors and cool. So they still filled all the requirements, but they flip-flopped stuff. So the way that it stands out, it's beautiful. Here are some others. They left these flowers white, and I was kind of totally chill with it because the way that they drew them, it looks awesome. They're optical illusion in the background. This student did do colored pencil inside their wolf, but it's still really well done. So a lot of times I show you these because, again, I like to show you I am pretty flexible. I'm not like the hardcore, like, oh, you missed a spot, you get a B. Like, I'm not that way. Here's some more examples of students from last year. This one, another reason I put this one in. I have students who are super into realism. I have students who are super into anime. I have students who are into cartooning. Lots of different styles of art. You can do your own style. You still can fall into the categories. Okay. I mean, a person is a shape, right? You have to connect lines. So this person is a shape. Her hair is all organic shape. Her nose is an organic shape. So everything about this falls into the expectations. It does have more white, but look at her shading of her Sharpies on that dress. Phenomenal. And I don't know why I did that one twice, but whatevs. Here are some more, lots of animals, like I said. This one's a creepy eye with a hand coming out of it, but I like it. This one is very abstract. So meaning it doesn't necessarily have to be anything. So if you're somebody that's like, I'm not into realism, I'm more into like abstract stuff, cool, go for it. Look at the cool background, how they use geometric shapes to create an abstract background. Awesome. Here are a couple different foxes. So again, like you can choose the same animal and yours can be completely different than your neighbors. Here's a few more. I love the mountains. I do have one. Oh, did I take it out? Here. So this is the one thing I like to talk about with students because a lot of times kids are confused in art class because they're like, well, I turned in the work. Why didn't I just get all the credit? And I totally understand that thought process, but you have to earn that A, like showing me you understand all the techniques and that craftsmanship part. Like we're not doing Jackson Pollock action paintings, which are fun and a whole different style of art. We're doing different types of art where that craftsmanship is really important. So we used to do like multiple practices. I'm obviously not making you do that. So this is like in lieu of a plan, but how you earn an A is you have that plan and then you have that final with that amazing craftsmanship. You have the focal point, you have the background, you have organic and geometric shapes, you have Sharpie technique. Look how this student used the layering with the stippling with her Sharpies. Like it's beautiful. That's how you get full credit is by following all the expectations. This one is super funky because it's very camouflage and she did that on purpose. And on her reflection, she wrote about it. And it was so cool the way that she pointed out the contrast inside each diamond. But then as a whole, it's kind of camouflaged. And like the way that she drew her braid, it was just really, really cool. And here's an elephant, obviously. Like earning a B, it's like, okay, well, this person should have used a ruler and their focal point is super tiny. And then they tried to compensate for that by like outlining it with this weird, thick black line. It's still a nice drawing. I'm not saying it's not, but it doesn't fall into the expectations for like beyond, above and beyond. This person's cactus is so cool, but they forgot their background. So this is where it's like, didn't really follow instructions, really went quickly, didn't do a plan, didn't turn it in correctly. That's when you're going to start earning the C's and D's, or like, I'll just give you a 0 and say, hey, can you do this? Or can you fix this? And then once you do, then it updates your grade. So I just wanted to give you all some more of an idea of like where that comes from, because art is really hard to grade because I am not sitting here and saying, oh, you're a better artist than you, and you're a better artist than you, so you get an A and you get a B. That's not how it works, okay? I've been doing this for 16 years. It's like, okay, as an 8th grade student, here's where like everyone should kind of be. And then some of you come down here because you aren't really trying. And then some of you are way up here because either you're trying super hard or there is such thing as natural born talent with art, just like sports or music. So again, we all start on the same level playing field. I hope that makes sense to everybody. And that's why there's expectations of the standards, and that's where the grading starts. So is this project making sense of the direction that you need to go in for your sketchbook cover? Now, the one, I see a head's nodding. I think we're good, Miss Starr.
They are nodding.
Okay, I do have a discussion in here today, and it's very simple. And if you do this, it'll literally take you a minute. And it is, why do we plan? Because I have a lot of students that are like, this is dumb. I'm doing 2 works of art. You're not, because you're drawing it in pencil and figuring it out. and then you create the final. I don't know an artist who doesn't plan or sketch or, figure out what they're going to do before they do it. So I would appreciate it if everyone would go do your discussion first in Schoology's Thursday folder today. What is the point of planning out your artwork? And how do you create a plan for your sketchbook cover? Like, what am I looking for? And I have, again, this slideshow in there as well for you, but it's 10 quick points. Do that first, and then you can go back to where you left